some space for Morra, patient play, and Josiah Morra comes on to score for Canada.
Ever since I've held a rugby ball, I knew it was a sport I wanted to be a part of. Every time I put on that Rugby Canada jersey, I always look at the logo, and before I put it on, I just think about my family, my friends, my coaches, like everyone back home that are supporting me, that have been supporting me when I first started the journey. And just know once I get on the field, everything I do on that field represents them. Win or lose, just want them to know that I gave it my all. When I was younger, I played a lot of sports. I played hockey, basketball, soccer, list goes on. My old friends back there, he came home with a rugby ball and I was pretty interested in it. So I remember I asked him what it was. He was kind of teaching me the rules and whatnot and how he started playing the sport at his high school. And I was in grade 8 at the time. When I first started playing rugby, I knew I needed to learn a lot. Like, since I was introduced to a new sport, I just really fell in love with it because I was able to use my physicality, my speed, my agility, and my fitness.
Look, something's coming. I can see it now with my red view. Woo! Touch one hand, me, man, I dare you. Woo! Leave no witnesses when I tear through. Woo! I got a few things in the AU. Woo! Young and old, anybody can get it. Anybody who listens to intercoms and attendance, get them gone, let them know this is more than a scrimmage. Something big coming, this ain't no regular business.
I remember showing my mom a video at the time of some rugby clips because I wanted to introduce her to the sport because I asked her if I was able to try out. So once I showed her the videos, I think I kind of made it bad on myself because I showed her clips of the biggest hits in rugby. So once she got a little glimpse of it, she was kind of worried, but my dad was like, yeah, just let him have a go. So my mom backed it, and then, yeah, funny thing was she told me that as long as I wear shoulder pads and a scrum cap, I was fine to go. When I first started playing rugby, I didn't really get to play as much on the field. Before I played for Team Ontario, I was playing and also training with Turf. So Turf is like an organization back in Toronto that helped out other rugby players that couldn't afford to pay for Team Ontario, Team Canada, the list goes on. They saw the potential in me and other athletes that had the potential to play for Team Canada. So they would bring them aside and they'll just train them and get them on as many teams as they can, just get their name out there. My old coach at the time, Paul Myers, he really had a lot of faith in me and he took me under his wing, which I really appreciate because I didn't really feel like a lot of coaches really backed me back then. Having a supportive coach really helps me a lot with my game. You know, just the confidence that he brings to me definitely helps me in the long run, just knowing that what I bring to the table, he backs it 100%. So I played for Upright Rugby and we had a rugby tournament back in Brantford, Ontario. It was called the Q-Meta Cup at the time. And yeah, I wasn't aware that the Rugby Canada Scouts were going to be out there and just out there having fun with the boys and just like playing my game. And fortunately, we were able to win the tournament and also got MVP. So I think that kind of helped me out, getting my name out there to the scouts. And yeah, like 2 weeks later after that tournament, got a call from them and my life changed from there.
I've been here since a buff style aqua, cutting through after all black master. Now I'm too grown for acting gaffer, trying to pay off my Madre's gaff cut. Took the wife, there's a rotty that's peak. Add the spice to color rubber, that's me. My advice off the order I seen. Christ alone, he don't promise you.
Paul Myers, he really was the guy that made me come out of my shell. When we both found out that I was able to participate and play for Team Canada, he was so stoked for me, and it was just like when we both came to that realization that the hard work paid off, we were just so proud of like the work we put in together. And yeah, just from then on, he would always like message me before my games and ask me how I'm doing. And he always would just catch up with me, just making sure I'm comfortable out here. Because I came out here at a pretty young age, right? But yeah, just a few years ago, he passed away, and I was going through my rehab phase with my knee after I got my surgery. So it was a pretty hard time, but you just use it as motivation to come back to getting back on the field And I was pushing to play in this tournament that I really wanted to be a part of called the Commonwealth Games. And once I got named to the team, it was pretty emotional for me because I was also thinking about Paul the times that happened around the same time. I told myself once I scored my first try back on the field, I was gonna point to the sky, just letting him know that try was for him. And then, yeah, just from now on, it's just been a thing for me now. Just pointing to the sky, just knowing that every try I score is dedicated to him. Just from like all the hard work that we put in together, I honestly wouldn't be here without him.
Look, I come from a city, you hear signs when we sleep. Heaven sent, hands down, vibes so unique. They ain't play their part, so my part is play for keeps. Wide-eyed kid, but I never saw the ease.
Moved out to Victoria. I remember my first training session with the boys. I was a bit starstruck because I remember watching a lot of those guys on TV in the previous years. So there were like a lot of players on that team I looked up to, or even watched in person whenever they came out of Toronto and played. So it was a pretty unreal moment for me at that time. I remember my first training session. I was just trying to get used to the training environment. I can tell I was not as fit as everyone on the field because I remember I was just getting gassed by everyone and I was like huffing and puffing. And yeah, those guys really took me under their wings and they really helped me out a lot throughout the last few years while they were on the team. We do a lot on the field together, a lot of running, a lot of fitness, a lot of physical stuff when it comes to contact sessions. I just feel like being able to recover off the field is a huge benefit for all of us because we need to be able to train the next day and just train our full potential. So yeah, just when it comes to that, just a lot of rest, a lot of just eating well, whatever you put in your body, just be really mindful about that as well. And then taking advantage of like the ice tubs. My goal was to play for Rugby Canada ever since I watched the boys played in Toronto back at the BMO field when I was younger. But then once I actually got to live that goal, I just realized that it was just a dream that I was able to live in, Be able to play in those large stadiums, making new friends worldwide, making a stronger bond with a lot of my friends on the national Canadian team, and also just inspiring the next generation of Rugby Canada athletes or even just other players or kids around the world is something that I honestly can't take for granted.
Looking to get Morra and some space shot coming on. Stood his ground really well, did Morra. And just bought himself some time for his teammates to arrive.
Yeah, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah.